Arsenal lose again in another cup competition. This time it's the FA Cup. They're out. They've lost to Southampton 2-1, right? What a terrible result for them. And this continues the precipitous drop that they are facing the past couple of weeks, right? With them losing the Carabao Cup final to Man City. And once again, I think here Arteta is completely and utterly at fault because tactically he got things wrong in terms of his selection of players. He got things wrong. The players, although really didn't perform as they should have, but whose fault is that really? I think it's Arteta. So most people are thinking that this is a choke job, that this is the usual Arsenal, how they choke, right? But Arsenal have won the FA Cup at 14 times, more than anybody else. So they seem to do very well in this competition. So it's very unusual for them to put in a performance like this. So what were the keys to the performance? Why did they lose? And I think there's one thing people are missing that I'm going to zero in on. And before we continue, please do like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Now, I think there are two main things really that caused this defeat for Arsenal. The first thing I think is because he once again took the opposition lightly, right? If you look at Guardiola, he did also rotate his team, right? But the key components always play. Like in his teams, no matter who plays, Rodri and Bernardo Silva always play in central midfield, right? Because that's how he plays his game. That's how he gains control of the game tactically, right? And so when you have a midfield of Norgard, Odegaard, and Havertz, you're very, very, very light in midfield. I know Lewis Skelly was coming into the midfield to try to do what O'Reilly does for Man City. And if you notice a theme here, I think there's a copying of things really by Arteta, really copying Guardiola in the way he does things. But I don't think Arsenal are there yet, right? I think Arteta is trying to sort of like have the blueprint of Man City, how they have been successful. But I think he's missing one key component. In the beginning, Guardiola did not rotate that much. He played his strongest team for almost all the games, right? Kevin De Bruyne played every game. Fernandinho played every game, right? Why? Because you have to win first. You have to instill a winning mentality first, right? You have to win one trophy first, at least one. Then you can start sort of tinkering. So I think that there was too much tinkering in this game. You had Skelly, White, Norgard, Kepa, Dauman, Havertz, Mosquera. That's literally 7 players, more than half the team, players that don't normally play. I know they were playing Southampton, but Southampton has been playing really well in the championship. And the championship is really nothing to scoff at, right? It's a very competitive league, right? And this game was their like Super Bowl. This was like their main game. So all the eggs, Southampton's eggs were in this one performance, right? So you have to know that they came well prepared to face Arsenal. And so for you to completely rotate all your players, right? And then play such a light midfield of Norgard. Norgard has hardly played this season, right? Lewis Skelly has hardly played this season, hence why he's being connected to Man City. Ben White, who made the mistake for the first goal, has barely played. He's been injured. He's barely played, right? Dauman, yes, a teenage phenom, but he's hardly played the season as well. So has Havertz coming back from injury, and Mosquera has filled in here and there, but this team has hardly played, right? They've hardly played. And so you're playing players that have hardly played and you're playing them out of position. It just doesn't make much sense if you're going to beat a good Southampton team, which is making a promotion push right now in the championship. So I think that was a huge blunder by Arteta. Huge blunder, right, by Arteta. Right? 7 changes. 7 changes. I mean, some of it, yes, we know that some of the players were injured, supposedly, and he's trying to rest some of the players for the midweek clash against Sporting. But I think that Sporting in midweek will be an easier prospect to handle than Southampton, right? Because Sporting have got their own things that are happening in the league. They also, they just played on the weekend. They've got things that they need to accomplish. And you've got 2 legs, right? Whereas this is the FA Cup final. 1 leg, 1 tie, and you're out. And so I think that he made a big mistake in that. The second thing I think that he got wrong is Havertz. I think we've had now this experiment for 2 games. Now, Havertz, yes, he's on huge money. I mean, it cost him, 67 million pounds, something close to that. I mean, he's earning something like 360 pounds a week, something like that, or close to 400,000 pounds a week. So he's the highest paid player. He's the most expensive. Well, not the most expensive. Rice is the most expensive player, but he's one of the most expensive players, and he was a record signing when he was signed. So I understand that you want to play Havertz, right? The myth of Havertz. But I think that it is he's playing Havertz in the wrong position, especially at this stage of his recovery. Havertz, where did he really make a name for himself, right? At Chelsea, he played his best games when he was playing a false nine. Because what he does is he's a cheat player, right? He can play the center forward role. I mean, he's not great at holding the ball up, but he's decent. He's very good at running in behind. He's a very intelligent player. And he's got a decent finish when he's in form on him. So he can play that false number 9 for you. So if you're playing a team that's going to have majority of possession, like they did in the final against Man City, where he was man of the match, right? You can play him because he adds extra bodies in midfield, but then he also springs forward from midfield because he's fairly quick. He's also quite big. He's like over 6 foot tall. He's big. He's good in the air. He's very strong. He can hold up the ball. And so I think as a false 9 or a 10, right, that's accompanied by another forward, but as a 10 that is a more of a forward rather than a midfield number 10, like Bruno Fernandes, Martin Odegaard, or Eze for Arsenal, right? He'd be more of a number 10, sort of like a partnering with the striker. I think that's where he shines. And that's where he shone for Leverkusen when he was bought by Chelsea for such huge amounts of money. And so I think Arteta is playing him, one, in the wrong position. I think he's also playing him in the wrong game, right? When you have majority of possession, you want ballers in midfield. You want people who can possess the ball, who can recycle the ball, who can also win the ball back quickly, because you also want to win the ball back quickly. But also you want people who can open up defense, dribble, maybe do something with a pass. And I think that the past 2 games have shown, the final against Man City and this quarterfinal against Southampton, that Havertz is really not the man for the job, especially when he's coming from an injury. So I think playing Gabriel, also for Gabriel up front as well. Now that's 8 players that were really not, that haven't been playing much. And so I think Arteta got this game completely wrong. I think this loss is completely on him as a manager. I think that he was outcoached by the Southampton manager, just like he was outcoached by by Guardiola in the final. Do you think, let me know what you think right down below in the comments. Do you think that Arteta is out of his depth, right? Is he out of his depth? Or do you think that he is just as a minor blimp, right? There's, I know for many of you are familiar with the story of Moses. Moses took the Israelites from Egypt into the promised land, right? But he never got there. Maybe Arteta is sort of a Moses character in that sense, in the sense that he is the guy to get you there. He's the guy to rebuild the team, but he's not the manager really to cross the line. Let me know what you think about that. Is Arteta really the Moses of Arsenal? I mean, you don't have to be a Christian to know that story. So let me know what you think down below in the comments. And as always, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel.